So a processor is any body, any person, agency, company that does something with data for a controller, so for another party. So the controller is the data owner. They ultimately instruct the processor to do something with that data. So us as a company and as a marketing agency, we act both as a processor for our clients' data and the data that we ultimately hold for them or do something with for them. And as a controller for our employees' data, so that would be payroll, contact information and such. The starting point is to understand the legislation, to seek relevant legal guidance and advice, which is something that we've done. We've worked through a GDPR project to understand both the legislation and our responsibilities as a processor. But the other key aspect of it is that you're taking the advice or you're taking the direction from the controller. So the controller ultimately determines what they want you to do with their data as a processor, and you ultimately act on that. Having clarity as far as agreements, contracts in place that determine that is really important also. Well, it starts with a data audit, and that's understanding and reviewing the data that you have within the systems that you ultimately manage and maintain, what that data is, how personal that data is, and in essence drawing up an action plan for what you need to do and how you need to approach that for each of the ultimate data controllers. Staff training is also really important, and that's workshops, that's policies and processes, so staff understand their responsibilities, they understand how they can ultimately impact and affect this, and how this is going to impact the work that they do on a day-to-day basis. From a data control perspective, what you're also then able to draw up is these policies and processes that help to ensure that what they're doing is lawful, and some of that comes back to lawful consent, which is a vital starting point when it comes to GDPR. Spoofing comes from making privacy, making security around personal data at the heart of everything that you do. So as an example of that would be running things like privacy assessments and impact assessments at the start of jobs and projects, just to make sure that you're identifying any needs around personal data, and what you're able to then do is plan for that, prepare for that right at the very beginning of the project. The worst thing you can try and do is retrospectively try and fit in something to do with security, something to do with privacy around personal data when you get to the end. So the more you can hit that at the beginning, and you can start to look to implement privacy by design via training and workshops within the relevant areas within your business, then ultimately that's going to be a big step towards future-proofing anything that you do. It comes from a consistent message around the importance of this legislation and how much impact it can have on everybody's business. It's quite dangerous, and certainly there can be a situation where companies don't feel as though it's important, they don't feel as though it's relevant, but it's ultimately relevant to everyone, and it's relevant to the whole aspect of the business. So we've been really consistent around that, and really consistent with our approach to upskill our staff, and that comes from our approach to become ISO 27001 accredited, and really kind of ensuring that as a company we're taking it as seriously as we should do, and that message translates through to our clients.